So I'd say the first part and the easy part to look at is guest messaging. Automating about 30% of messages with the data that you already have is easy. Now you want to get to 40, 50, 60, 70%, start thinking about the SOPs, the policies, the structure, but that is already in application today. Customers, property managers using Enso or using different systems are seeing those level of automations. That's more on the guest-facing side, it's the easy part. But there's all of the things that are happening in the backside, which is software development, marketing, distribution, and how AI is playing a role in all of this. So one of the examples I would say is we're able to deliver software at probably 10 times the speed we used to be able to deliver because of the types of automations we're building in-house and the agents that we're leveraging and so on. So we're going to see that same application appear within the context of guest experience as a whole, not just guest communication, owner management, operations, and many different verticals in the space as well. So one of the biggest challenges in vacation rental management is you're basically managing multiple hotels. If you have 50 units, you have 50 hotels. And the reality is guests expect that Ritz-Carlton experience. They expect 24/7 communication. In fact, if you have less than a 4.5 on Airbnb, you're basically invisible. You're in the bottom listings, you're in the bottom pages. So the guest experience used to be an afterthought. It was all about dynamic pricing and getting the rates right. Now it's all about delivering that best experience. And the best way to do so is to do it in a personalized way, but the only way you can personalize it is if you collect data. So if you know who those guests are that are staying in your property, you understand what they're looking for, what they're not looking for. And we have operators who've collected some of this information, have realized that basically 80% of their guests are coming in for staycation, birthdays, and romance events. And so based on that information, not only have they been able to personalize the messaging, the tone, but they've also started upselling those guests on those different types of packages. One example I love sharing is Flow Home. Brian, fantastic property manager, 14 listings, and he generates about $10,000 a month on 14 listings. That's more than $1,000 every month on a 100% margin item of upsells. Why? Because he understands the guests that are coming. So he can personalize those offers and not just have it so that it's good messaging, it's actually a whole curated experience that drives almost as much revenue as the property management business does. I think it has to do with these unique experiences and the upsells that people can curate for their guests, because ultimately the guest journey itself, the communication with the guests, the expectations of when and how you're going to find your check-in instructions and guides and so on, all that's going to be automated. We're all headed in the same direction when it comes to digitizing that experience. What's going to be different as well is the brand that you curate. Are you managing a variety of vacation rentals because you just want to get a bunch of listings, or have you created a unique offering for a unique type of owner, a unique type of guest? And have you been able to figure out how to monetize and curate those experiences? I think that's what's going to differentiate a lot of property managers. We're all using the same linens, white sheets, white bedding, and so on. There's no more of those old colorful beddings for the most part. So the experience ultimately comes down to the uniqueness of the types of upsells that you can offer to your guests. And that can realistically only happen if you've automated the operations with AI.